Hello everyone, welcome back to a Tonka video. Forget the noise, although I got a heater going. We're going to be showing you how to replace front sway bar and links for 06 to 11 town cars and possibly other Panther platforms such as the Crown Vic or Grand Marquis. What we're going to need is a 15mm, a 7mm, some breaker bars, 18mm, 15mm, 21mm, possibly an Allen vice grip, and of course that's breaker bars, and we're also going to need a jack. First step is to remove the tires using the 21mm. I'm going to take these out. Next step we got to do is we're going to take out the, we need a flashlight on here. We're going to remove this caliper. These calipers are held in by a 18mm. I just go on the bottom. There's one here, and right here you have to remove. You do not have to remove these anchor plates that hold this on. This entire assembly comes off and in one piece. These are torqued to 118 foot-pounds, so that's why I say you're going to need a breaker bar and the jack to use as leverage in order to break these. So let's start with the breaker bar, because that's what I used last time to get this off. Put that on there. Go ahead and line up this one. Now that's on there, we're going to have to take this out, so that would be this way, down, because the other way was this way, but now since on the other side of the car we need to move down to loosen this. You're gonna find some leverage here, might stand up and push down, or I might try pulling it down that way. It's still on though. Let's attach this one. See if we can loosen it up. And we did not get it, but it looks like we also step on that. So this is the current position I'm in, using my foot to hold onto the oil pan as I use that to push up and pry this down. And it is working. Oh, I managed to manually loosen it, so now I can swap over to the Vashine one and get this off. Oof! Finally got it. Alright, I'll be back once I finally manage to unscrew this almost all the way. Now that that is almost out, we're going to go ahead and get our jack lift, whatever you call it. Put this underneath the rear control arm where the strut bolts into. The stabilizer link is in a rebound position, as the workshop manual says. So we need to lift this up and relieve pressure from it. There we go. And now we can work on the lower one. Now for the lower one, if you have a powerful enough impact wrench and have enough room, you should be able to just drill it, zip it out of there. But for this impact wrench is not powerful enough at a friend's place. We need to get this out somehow. Probably with this and a lot more effort. So we'll be back after I find a position that works with this impact wrench. So for the bottom, let's just assume that you didn't put in the strut yet and you're not using a impact wrench to zip this off. I got it in there, it needs to move that way, so I'm gonna use my foot. Okay, we'll be back when I loosen this. So what I did, instead of using my key for the other side, I came around and put my foot on this jack stand and then used my body weight to pull this way, and that broke it. how the right tools do the job. I'm sure it was Julio's system of things with this Titan lift. It's a much nicer job at doing this rather than on the ground. Oh, how much I would like to lift. If you at least have a impact wrench, you can get to the bottom with this. So move that, swap the heads out, and reverse position. Back on the bottom, like so. After 10 minutes of futzing around, I finally got the bottom bolt off. Oh, what a pain. And I cut myself in the process. Or injured myself underneath the glove. Can't work on a car without blood, sweat, and tears. The next step would be to take this ratchet. A ratcheting one would be really nice. Actually, this is a wrench. And also take the small one. This goes over this piece right here. Well, this goes directly on top of this. You want to hold this while you're ratcheting this piece to turn it loose, because if you just turn this, say this is the back, this piece that goes into the end link will just spin. This is what you're holding right there. That's what you're holding. You try to get the nut off of that. And my battery's almost dead, but that's basically what you do for the top piece. At some point after ratcheting this and holding it down, you'll come to this point. Well, the little one won't fit over the tip, but it still won't come out without spinning the inner one. That's why you take your vice grips and pinch right here where you see the threads. Now we'll grab onto it, hopefully. Pull the vice grips and then take off the bolt, and then it'll come off, and then you can disconnect the sway bolt from the end link. There we go. And the bottom one pieces out. Now we look on the top one. The top one is the same principle but kinda in reverse. So we'll take this. Actually, we'll loosen this first with the impact. So take your 15, put it on an impact wrench. If you don't have this, just skip this step. We'll put this on here and then we'll start pounding it out. That's starting to fall, and eventually this will just start spinning on you, and that's when you know you can go to the next step. The next step is to take your 15, hold it, take the open end, and hold it down on this nut. Oh, yeah, nut. Hold it down, then take your small one, wherever it went. Like always a game of cat and mouse. Where did I put my tiny one? Managed to find my little one. It was right behind the jack stand. Jack. Take your little one. This is your big one. And with two hands, you're gonna loosen this ratchet as you hold this one down, because there isn't enough room for this big ratchet wrench to go left and right unless you probably have a crow foot, which I don't have. So we're gonna just start like that with both of them. So after a bunch of playing with the top piece right over there, I ended up rounding this piece that is supposed to hold the 7mm on, and what I ended up doing is using the vice grips and grabbing the back end of this. So instead of here where I put the wrench, I took the vice grips and put it right here, and then I used the impact to kind of drill it out or pull it out, and it ended up coming right out. So I got both those sides out, and I'm gonna go to auto parts store and pick up the new ones, and I'll show you a video of me installing. And welcome back. It is the next day. We have the parts we need. This is a Duralast ones, not OEM, but a lifetime warranty on these. These are a slightly different design rather than the OEM ones, is that this requires a Allen wrench to get to, that's recessed instead of the 7mm wrench that you need to remove the old ones. But it's not too difficult. I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's get my flashlight on. The one with the most threads goes on the top. You can push that in. Grab our new nuts, since the workshop manual says to just re-go the old ones. So it's nice that these come with an extra set to use. Hand tighten this, and then there's two options you have for these two last ones. It's use this hex nut and put it in there. I'm not sure what size this is. Sorry about that. Put it in there, and then use your 15mm wrench to hold it, and then tighten up the Allen wrench hex while this is holding it. The other option would be to grab your vice strips and grab onto the back of the link right here. I'm going to push this in and then grab onto it, and that way we can use a power tool to zip it on there, and that should hold it and stop this middle one from reversing, so we don't have to use the Allen wrench to hold it. So let's get that in position. Now that is holding the back, you can go with 15, and we already started this with our hands, so make sure not to cross thread it, and zip it on there. Get this down changed, and look how easy that was to get on there. Reset this, push it back in, and do the same thing again. And this is torqued to 42 foot-pounds, and the bottom is 46. Or to make it easier, you can tighten both these to 46. But I do not have a torque wrench on me at the moment, so we're going to just tighten these two good and tight. Now the bottom one is started with the bolt on it, like through the sway bar, torsion bar. And with the bottom one, if you're lucky with the door latch ones, you don't have to use an Allen wrench to hold the key. You can just tighten this with your ratchet in your socket. And that is it for the bottom and top sway bar link. Next up, we're pretty much done, but if you want to still follow along, is to put the rotor on, and then this caliper and brackets. You might have to remove the caliper from the bracket to be able to put this back on, but if you're lucky, you'll be able to just slide the entire assembly on the rotor. But for me, the other side was not like that, so we're gonna go with the rotor back on. I had to disassemble the caliper bracket. The size for the caliper bracket to the caliper is a 14mm. And now that we have those off, there's one of them. You can then put the brackets on the hub and rotor assembly, and then we can start putting the brake pads on. And where is it? Here it is. These two holding the caliper bracket are 18mm, and these are torqued to 114 foot-pounds, I believe. After the brake pads are in, you're most likely going to run into a problem that this bracket won't close all the way because these pistons are hitting these tabs on the other side. To fix that, we need to push these pistons, and for that, we're going to take out one of these brake pads. Just use a junk one, doesn't matter. Put that in there, and then use a C-clamp or something of the sort like this one to clamp it into place. Use to are now flat, so we can put it in this caliper and should be able to slide this down underneath. And now we can tighten the bottom one. I believe the torque spec for these is like 30 to 45 foot-pounds. And now we can put the tires back on, and we are done.